And welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Tennova Healthcare, cancer centers, cardiology services, labor and delivery centers, neuroscience, orthopedic care, robotic surgery centers, and of course, ER care. Tennova does it all, but what sets them apart is their people. I can say that with firsthand knowledge. Visit Tennova.com to learn more about their wonderful services. They are tremendous. Tennova Healthcare. All right, counting down the biggest heroes and villains since 2003, the Sports Source era, since we first launched. We are back on the plus side. 3 heroes. Each of these guys got 3 votes from the panel, and Bob Hodge voted as well, so he was in the panel. Let's go ahead and take a look at these next 3 heroes. Rick Clausen. I don't know how many people out there viewing were screaming, "You've got to get to Rick Clausen." But that's a good one. You think back, he was the number 3 quarterback in 2004, wound up closing out the year, was the MVP along with Justin Harrell of the Cotton Bowl in a win over Texas A&M. And then the next year, didn't win the quarterback competition. Eric Ainge has a bad first quarter against LSU. You're down. It's the Hurricane Rita game, I believe. And Clausen comes in and leads you back in that incredible overtime game where you win down there. Rick Clausen on the list. David Cutcliffe. I don't think that's going to surprise anybody right there. Returned and UT improved, left and UT got worse. Pretty good coach. We'll talk about his numbers in a minute. And then last, Jauan Jennings. And everyone who voted for Jauan Jennings kind of had a parentheses, Hail Mary. So I think being the first recipient of a game-winning Hail Mary in Tennessee history will put you on the heroes list. Gentlemen, your thoughts on those 3 individuals?
Well, Clausen is one that I like because this was a year where Tennessee started the season with 2 true freshman quarterbacks, Brent Schaefer and Eric Ainge. Both of them get hurt. Your season's done. And Clausen was a transfer from LSU. And I remember Nick Saban, I told him at the SEC spring meetings one year, I said, hey, Clausen's going to go to Tennessee. And he said, he's not going to Tennessee. He can't play in this league. He's not good enough. Oops. So he goes to Tennessee, and he ends up winning 2 games late when Tennessee needed to win SEC games. They lost to Auburn, which was undefeated that year. Yeah. And then they win. They beat A&M, 38-7 in the Cotton Bowl. I thought what he did coming in to play that well in that situation, he helped them get to an SEC championship game. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah. And that he was very deserving of that MVP in that Cotton Bowl. He played great when they just whomped Texas A&M. And then the next year, 2005, he comes back again out of the shadows.
Casey Clausen received a vote as a hero, by the way, but he only played in the 2003 season. I think if this had gone back, if we had launched a year or 2 earlier, I think he would have had a better chance. You'd have had 2 Clausen brothers on there, I think, in terms of Rick Clausen, probably a forgotten hero for those 2 games right there especially, and Clausen for his whole career was underappreciated, I thought. David Cutcliffe, let me throw this number. And look, first of all, credit Philip Fulmer. He's the one that promoted David Cutcliffe as the offensive coordinator. But with Cutcliffe on staff, Fulmer was 85-19, 81% winning percentage. Without Cutcliffe, 67-33, 67% winning percentage. It's hard to argue David Cutcliffe isn't a hero at Tennessee for what he did in both his stays.
And the inability to fill that position was really the key to Coach Fulmer not being retained, or
you might see a villain on that topic later.
Exactly. So I mean, and Coach Cutcliffe, what he brought, and then also how many quarterbacks he's worked with and everything. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely on the hero list, and for a lot of people, and Jimmy, I know you know very well, better than a lot of people do. I mean, as a person too. I mean, he's just the type of person that fits that mode.
And we were talking in the break here that you went from Schuler to Manning to Martin. All those guys were talented. There's 3 very different types of quarterbacks, and he won with all 3. He knew how to get the most out of all 3 and wasn't afraid to tweak his offense to get there. I mean, that pass-happy offense with Peyton Manning to the run-heavy offense of T. Martin, he pushed all the right buttons when he was here.
I thought another thing he did that to me was about as impressive as anything he did was when he came back, I thought he resurrected Eric Ainge's career because Ainge did not have a good sophomore year. And he told him, you have to be committed to playing the position. So Tennessee went from a losing record to winning 9 games, then to winning 10, winning the division, and leading LSU in the 4th quarter in a game that they had a chance to win for the SEC title. So I thought that 2-year period just underscored how important Cutcliffe was.
That's a great point. And a lot of people still remembered the LSU game from the year before. Eric Ainge is the reason we don't take phone calls on this show anymore. We used to do one segment of phone calls, and he was throwing for 300 yards a game in 2006 under Cutcliffe, and people were still saying, why don't we see Jonathan Crofton? So rather than have Bobby Scott and Pat Ryan go through the camera and strangle people, and we got tired of it, we just nixed phone calls. But it was Cutcliffe who turned him around, where he put up spectacular numbers and wound up, if you'd gone back to his sophomore year and said, well, he'll be in the NFL, you wouldn't have seen that. But that's Cutcliffe. Jawan Jennings and the Hail Mary. Is it more about Jawan Jennings or is it more about the Hail Mary?
Well,
Why he's on the
how can you separate them? And that's
Okay.
why he's on this list. I mean, name a play that a Tennessee player, an individual player. I know Josh Dobbs threw the ball in the perfect position, but name a play where a Tennessee player went up and just made a play like that to decide a game.
Well, that was the first time Tennessee had a Hail Mary to win a game.
Yeah.
They'd had them at the end of the half, correct?
Right.
And it's also, you hear about pound for pound, the toughness he brings, and maybe not just pound for pound, just overall, that the praise he gets, and the catch he made at Burn, Florida.
He said the Hail Mary was his second favorite
Exactly.
catch, and that's what he was referring to.
Exactly.
He smoked Tease Tabor, tripped and fell over it, tripped over his own tongue. You
That
might
was
say.
a pretty
All right.
accurate description. He smoked Tease Tabor.
Oh, now. Wow. Shot at Tease Tabor. All right. I hope that was a shot at Tease
Yes, it
Tabor.
was.
It was a medicinal shot.
When we come back, we'll look at another villain list. 4 more villains. A person, place, or thing? Yes, we have all in the next segment. Come on back.